And then understanding her business and just being so excited about what she has to offer, which really adds to what I have to offer. And just knowing that together, wow, we can do a whole lot, So that was really, what excited me about this.
And as a bonus, we both love coffee and wine.
She just sold her company. She sat in a room full of men negotiating the biggest deal of her lifetime. Wait, she sold for how much? I can't even believe she managed to get double her valuation. Let's keep this just between us.
Welcome back to another episode of The Exit Whisperer, and today is my happiest day ever filming this show because I helped participate in this incredible joining of forces of amazing women, Andrea Padilla and Andrea Sai. Same name, slightly different pronunciations. Welcome to the show, you guys.
Thank you.
So much.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you here. So normally on this show, I talk about the decision to exit. And so I think what I'm going to start with is a little bit around, Andrea, your story, how you knew it was time to get ready for a change. And then I want to talk about your story, which is around the decision to actually make an acquisition, because I think that's something that we don't talk about enough, that women like us can really come up with these creative and brilliant ways to work together and grow together. So let's start with you, Andrea.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about Sai and tell me how it got started and how you grew it.
Yeah, absolutely. So back in 2003, which is now 22 years ago, I decided to go start a part-time agency. That was my idea. I was growing the family and I thought, okay, we're going to do a little part-time work. I'll get out of corporate. And quite quickly, it actually accelerated into full-time work. I specialize in a certain industry, and I'm fortunate that people just shared my information and my business grew tremendously just by word of mouth. So over the years, I've grown this business. I've absolutely enjoyed everything that I do, but I got to a point where I had grown it to a spot so large that I'm like, I need some help.
I can't tell you how many women I talk to on this podcast who start a business because it's a time in their life where they're having children, they're growing families, and they want control over their time. And it's so interesting how something starts as a part-time thing and then sort of just grows organically, and all of a sudden you have this big thing.
Yes, it absolutely morphed. And so what my ideas about starting it and what it turned out to were so different, but I wouldn't change a thing.
Oh my God.
Right? So in that process, I was thinking through, so how do I grow this business?
Yeah.
How do I take this and make it, be even more impactful for the industry that I'm in? And so one of the ways could have been to, hire staff and do all of that. As a person that runs my household and also runs my business, the whole thought of that was truly terrifying, to be honest with you. So I started a few years ago to think about how can I partner with another agency that's got a bigger bench, that has, more processes and more staff. And how can I partner with somebody like that to bring more to my client base?
So you were able to think about growth while de-risking in that way. You weren't going to say, okay, I'm going to hire all these people, I'm going to jump out and do it. I'm going to align myself with somebody who has that sort of infrastructure, and then we can grow together.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic. Now you, Andrea, took a different approach. Tell me first of all about the start of Square Root Marketing.
The start of Square Root Marketing was born when my first son was born.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a story of really, I became sort of the accidental entrepreneur. I came to the US when I was 17 years old. I spoke no English. And then I built a career in corporate America. And then I decided that I've had it with corporate America. I wanted really independence. I wanted to start something on my own. And in my case, for me, it was very important to build a team, to build culture, because I'm all about values, corporate, building company values that at the end translate into clients' results. And at Square Root, our path, it's about growth, but growing with the right partners. And I think we found the right partnership with Andrea here. And like I told you earlier, it was an omen that both of our names are Andrea.
It's true.
Yeah, that was.
Well, especially because your name is Square Root. So it's
Yeah, it's
Andrea squared. It's both of them. I mean, it really is like kismet. I have a question for you because one thing that I know about you from going through this process is like you're an entrepreneur who came, you built this entirely on your own. You came to the country speaking no English. You did it, really like just step by step. Where did you learn the tolerance for the risks that you took and the appetite for the growth? Like, I need to invest in team because people take very different paths, both of which can be extremely successful. You can run an amazing solopreneur business for many years and live your lifestyle, or you can invest. Where did that come from for you?
I think it came from a combination of always wanting to get out of the comfort zone. I guess it's in my nature, always trying to challenge myself and challenge my team, thinking bigger. And it's interesting because I was personally not educated to become an entrepreneur. I was not educated to take risks. I was not educated to, I was educated to have a job, to have the classical path of being in corporate America for probably 30 years. And I discovered when I was in corporate America that I was what they call an intrapreneur.
Yes.
Because I was always coming up with these big ideas and challenges. And when I went up to upper management to sell them, the answer was always no. No, we cannot do this. This is not. So that's when I realized that I had that drive in me to do more than just being part of a larger organization. And I think it took a lot of self-awareness to realize that. And there is this just one moment when it clicks, it makes sense. It's a big leap of faith, being on your own, because you're taking, and it's even more of a leap of faith when you have a team.
Yes,
that depends on you.
Yeah, it's a big weight. I mean, we know this. I know for me, when I built Likeable and had this huge team, the second I sold, I was like, thank God, because it's like it's a weight. It's hard, and so I commend you for doing that. And I commend you for having the foresight to recognize, like, okay, I can actually do this in a different way and have this sort of achieve the same wonderful result of growth, which is so fantastic. Now, I know you had looked at a lot of acquisitions. What did you see in Andrea and Sai that made you realize that it was the right type of fit?
Yeah, and I think that's an excellent question, because I think it usually gets overlooked, but chemistry is so important, much more important than the numbers. Having similar values.
Yes.
It's so important. And I think that's key to any acquisition, having this similar work ethic, being out there for the clients, being partners on the day-to-day. And I think for me, what was really important is the similarity in our values. How we approach not only our clients, but also life, right? We have very, very similar stories. Different backgrounds, are very similar stories. And chemistry is so important. It's number one. For me, it's the foundation. Then comes the financial aspect and the integration aspect. But having that foundation of similarity of values is absolutely key.
Wow. And I know for you, Andrea, you, first of all, since I got to see your business and really got to learn it, you had your choice of places to go. I mean, who wouldn't want you as a part of their growth engine? What was it about Andrea and her company that appealed to you?
Yeah, well, for me, very similar in terms of shared vision, but I think it's all about relationships and trust. And when I met Andrea, it was like that immediate gut feel of some like-minded person who approaches work and clients and family in the very same ways that I do. And so it was like an immediate closeness that we had. And then understanding her business and just being so excited about what she has to offer, which really adds to what I have to offer. And just knowing that together, wow, we can do a whole lot, So that was really, what excited me about this.
And as a bonus, we both love coffee and wine.
Yeah. Coffee and wine. You need that common interest for sure.
Absolutely.
So here's one question I have for you, because also I was with you guys from start to finish on this one, which I really loved. You managed to stay close and communicative in the midst of negotiations, which is something that I found so beautiful. I would love to know tips on that. When you're having to negotiate, you probably have this with clients too, but especially when you're doing a deal like this and you have to negotiate and have sometimes tough conversations, but maintaining that closeness while you do it. Do you have any just thoughts on how you approach that, because I just really loved watching you both be able to have those types of conversations and come out on the other side not hating each other, because I think a lot of times it's really hard during the negotiation time frame. And I found for you guys, even though there were negotiating points, you did it with such grace. Is there any from either one of you, any tips on that?
I just feel like being authentic and communicating really well and being a really good listener. So really, you know, and then having some room to make some adjustments to how we feel like moving forward would work. And I think so having that flexibility and really understanding like what's valuable and then what are some things that will make the most sense moving forward. You know?
And for me, it's trust, number one, because we're starting on the right path, trusting each other. I think that's number one. That's very important. And number two, not losing perspective of the big picture. Because for me, the bigger picture is about growth. And sometimes we tend to get so much into the nitty-gritty of the details. I think the details are important.
Of course.
But looking at the overarching picture, projecting 2-3 years down the line, what's the vision for this business?
That's right. And sometimes things feel so heightened in the moment on very tiny deal points that your ability to pull back and look at the bigger picture and maintain the authenticity and humanity of the situation, talking directly to one another, I thought that was really, really beautiful. So my last question to you both is, what's next as you view the future? Like, where do you see this going and growing next for Square Root? Like, how do you see this all coming together? If we're sitting together a year from now and we're talking about all of the amazing successes you've had,
we're going to be sitting together in a year, but with a glass of wine.
Okay, good. We need wine. I know. I need to start incorporating wine into this show, you guys.
My personal view on this is I have a partner right next to me that we complement each other so well, and I see a future in the industry that you're in, and really collaborating and working together. But this is more, I see this as a one-on-one partnership, and that's how I see our future together.
Absolutely. I have been working with a team, but really by myself for 22 years. So to have a team and Andrea by my side and, you know, allowing me to reach out and actually get, more growth and other clients, that's super exciting. So.
Well, I always say that the best acquisitions are ones where everyone comes out a winner. And I feel like in this scenario, that's exactly what I'm getting to witness. And I feel so honored that you guys trusted me to be a part of that process and to be on this journey with you. And so I just want to say I'm so grateful to you, and I can't wait to see where you go.
I can't imagine this process without you.
Oh.
So very grateful for you.
Yeah, so am I. I'm so grateful that I reached out to you via LinkedIn.
Oh my gosh.
And that's how our journey together began. And you are so instrumental, your vision, your encouragement. It usually tends to get overlooked as a soft skill, but it's so key, especially when we're going through these moments of transition, of merging forces and working together. That's so important, Carrie.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I think it's the difference between what makes a successful acquisition and what makes one that can be disastrous. It's just, if you don't have good communication, you don't have good soft skills, like it's very, very challenging because you're bringing together two cultures, like in so many different ways. I mean, it's two different companies that you're bringing together, and it has to be done thoughtfully. And so I really appreciate you saying that. And I appreciate both of you for coming on today.
Thank you.
Thank you.